From mole people roaming the subways of the Big Apple to a treasure trove buried underneath Liberty Island, we bring you 8 New York City urban legends.
Number 8. Mole people.
There's been talk of an entire thriving civilization living beneath the streets of New York City. This secretive society consists entirely of moles, who are said to be working behind the scenes to manipulate the subway lines. While mole people might not be literal, there is, in a sense, people who share the characteristics of such beings living in the subways, the homeless. In fact, a book released in 1993 details how the homeless have erected entire societies underground. This includes staple members of any environment, such as teachers, nurses, and even elected officials. Other than the poorer of NYC inhabiting the subways, any actual deformed mole-like being has yet to be discovered.
Number 7. Cursed 57th Penthouse.
Terrible things have happened in the 57 West 57th Street penthouse that has made it a cultural object of terror. The place had been owned for many years by one Edna Crawford Champion and her lover, Charles Brazel. The penthouse was reported to have driven the two into lunacy, with screams and violent arguments taking a hold most evenings. Brazel eventually beat Edna to death with a telephone. Following this, her bodyguards disposed of Brazel and turned the whole apartment into a murder scene. The next owners found themselves be haunted by the ghost of the couple, complete with whispers of arguments and footsteps throughout the area. The worst of the entire haunting phenomenon was that the owners experienced horrifying visions that drove them completely mad. The apartment has since been used as a space for art exhibits, although many people are wary when stepping inside.
Number 6. The Souls of Hell's Gate Bridge.
Hell's Gate has multiple legends surrounding it, no doubt to its overt creepiness. One of its most mentioned urban legends is that of a ghost train that crosses it during the middle of the night. The locals say that those who climb up the structure after dark report seeing bright lights racing towards them but disappear once they arrive. Others report seeing an actual rundown old train carrying the souls of the damned who have lost their lives to the water below. Among the train's passengers include mafia victims and suicides who sit forever on the locomotive on their never-ending trip to the underworld.
Number 5. The Victorian Time Traveler.
This next urban NYC legend is one of the most well-known and details a time-traveling historian. Apparently in 1950, people in Times Square witnessed a young man in Victorian dress in the middle of the intersection. However, no one saw him arrive, or had any idea how he even came to be where he was standing. Reports say he suddenly just appeared confused and disoriented. However, before anyone could question him, he was killed by a speeding taxi. When the body was searched at the morgue, it was reported that the man had banknotes and documentation dating back to 1876 that were in mint condition.
Number 4. Mutated Rats.
Not only does New York City have a mole person problem, but they have issues with other rodents. Rats. The Big Apple is widely known for its infestation problem, and has even been mentioned on major networks as the most rat-infested city on Earth. For more than a century, there have been rumors of gigantic mutated rats lurking the streets of New York City. Some of these behemoths are reported to be as tall as 3 feet or larger, and that they thrive and feed in the sewer system. The cause of such large rats is left up to speculation, though most conspiracy theorists blame it on radiation.
Number 3. Cropsey.
The legend of Cropsey is a thrilling tale. Cropsey was an escaped mental patient who resided in the old Willowbrook Mental Institution. The man was said to disappear during the middle of the night and quietly haul away children into the institution with him, where they were never to be seen again. Reportedly, Cropsey was a real person, which makes this urban legend all the more terrifying. It all started back in 1972 when children began to mysteriously vanish from Staten Island. The 5 kidnappings were blamed on a local criminal, Andre Rand, who is currently serving a 50-year sentence. The legend of Cropsey is still told to ward off wandering children.
Number 2. Belasco Theater Ghost.
The Belasco Theater is one of the biggest tourist attractions in the world, and is host to an intriguing haunting. The story goes that the owner, David Belasco, was such an avid theater buff that he refused to leave the stage even in his death. Audience members report seeing the outline of a man above the stage watching the various performers and judging their chops. Some actors have even said that they saw Belasco himself in the dressing rooms after a particularly good performance. Belasco's old apartment above the theater is even said to be haunted as well. Strange shadows have been witnessed in the night dancing to some unsettling music.
Number 1. Liberty Island's Buried Treasure.
It can be argued that the Statue of Liberty is the most famous landmark in all of the United States. What most people don't know, however, is that there is a heaping pile of gold buried somewhere on Liberty Island. According to local lore, a pirate captain by the name of William Kidd was hanged in 1701. Rumors spread during that time that his massive buried treasure was located under a large flat rock on Liberty Island. Since then, there have been excursions to dig up the gold, with one such excursion ending in an eerie visit from the ghost of Kidd himself, waving his sword and threatening the dig team. Perhaps there was never any gold buried on the island to begin with, but that won't stop the rumor from living on for generations to come.